Hello, everybody. I am getting in on Instagram too. I'm sorry, I haven't done Instagram in so long. So let me start this. I don't know what IG be doing. Okay. Yes. So I don't know why I'm like super nervous. And then my camera is like so dark. But hello, everybody. Beautiful people is what I normally say. And I just want to say I'm coming on here. And if you saw the title or whatever, it was just saying experiencing grief after infidelity. And one of the things that I thought about when I was going through what I was going through in my marriage before my divorce, I found out um that my partner was cheating on me in October, like mid-October. And so Thanksgiving basically was right around the corner. And in my family, like I'm the family clown. I'm the one that just keeps everybody going. And I remember when I got to dinner for Thanksgiving, like people were legit upset with me because I hadn't disclosed to my family, what I had discovered about my husband or ex-husband now. And people were upset because I wasn't being this joyful, jovious person, right? And so I just thought about that. I was like, man, this would be, and a lot of my clients have been talking about that as well. It's just like what they're experiencing. During the holidays. I have a client now who's going through this and it's very difficult for her. And so, Gray, I see you on here. Like, if you want me to invite you on so we can chit chat together, just put it in the comments. I'll invite you on because I thought that you and I were having we just had like two exchanges, but I thought that what you had shared too, just about like trusting your intuition and all of those things, I thought that that was really helpful. But yes, going back to a little bit of my story. Okay, I'm finna send you the invite right now. Let's see. Hold on. I haven't done this in so long. Okay, cool. All right, Gray, I just sent it to you. Let me know if you got it. I hope you got it. Okay. Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going? How are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
I've never done this before or been live on Instagram, so
Are you serious? I love it. It was funny because I saw your story today, and that's what you were saying too, like just about all of the resources that you have and like how important community is, especially when going through this. So I found out about my infidelity. I was married and I found out about mine, well, the first time rather in 2018. And I don't know, I wasn't on social media like that. So I just wish now, like I knew about these communities because these communities have been so helpful for me. So I don't know. You want to kind of share with some of the people, like what's been working for you or whatever you want to share. I'll let you share your wisdom.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's been kind of like the biggest game changer for me because, so just in short, I started the first time I was cheated on was when I was 16.
Oh, wow.
And then basically I've been cheated on in 4 committed relationships, like boyfriend, girlfriend, my whole life. So, but I don't know, nobody really seemed to understand like how it impacted me or how I felt about it. I heard a lot of like typical narratives surrounding it. And I just kind of like suffered in silence.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it myself, and it wasn't.
What do you mean? Like when you say that, what do you mean by you didn't really understand it yourself?
Well, when I was 16, I've always been really naive, and I think a lot of us can relate to that. Like rose-colored glasses, and I thought everyone felt the same way I did. I thought everyone has strong morals and values, and infidelity is something you just don't do. You don't
Yep.
If you're unhappy in a relationship, you try to work it out, and if you can't work it out, you end it.
Yeah.
With respect.
Yeah.
And I just ran thinking that everyone felt the same way. So the first time it happened, I didn't get it. It like didn't compute. I was so young, but then the second time I was 24, and the first time she cheated, I broke up with her immediately that night. I was going to get back in because I knew it was wrong.
Yeah.
Like, this is disrespectful. Like, no, I'm not. But I didn't understand the type that cheats. Nobody talked about that. So I was manipulated back, love bombed and all that stuff that I understand now.
And that's really, I feel like that's important because that's what gets a lot of people, right? Like you said, that love bombing, because it's, they know how to entice you and they know how to say all the things too.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Because I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think most of us are really genuine and open and honest. So it's like, well, obviously this guy wants love so badly. I know exactly what to tell him to get him. And for what reason? That's what I really don't understand. Like, just leave me alone. You clearly don't want to just be with me. So she cheated the second time, and it was with who I thought was my best friend, one of my best friends at the time.
Oh, wow.
So I ended that, but then, I don't know, nobody talked about it. It was just like, it was what we see in our culture now, where it's like normalized and people protect the cheater and victim blame the victim, the abused. Nobody talked about it like it was abuse. It's just like, oh, well, they just kind of looked at you like, must be something up with you. Or, so I just kind of bought it. I mean, I hadn't heard anything to the contrary, and then I went 15 years of self-protection from getting hurt like that again, and I didn't date 15 years.
Are you serious? Why? Like, were you just afraid and you just didn't want to?
Well, I honestly, I was completely unaware that that's what I was doing. I did not know I was protecting myself. I told myself that I just wasn't the relationship type. I didn't need it. Not everyone feels that strong need for a relationship or love. Yeah. And that's who I was. I was happy being alone, and some people are like that. Yeah. And I tell everyone that. I told myself, and I really believed it, but it couldn't be further from the truth. It was just self-protection. And I realized 15 years later, when I had a really great date, all that loneliness and sadness and fear and everything came out of me all at once. And I realized, oh, I've been protecting myself for over a decade.
Wow.
But I hadn't learned very much. So I got into a relationship, and she was the worst of them all. I mean, really, she did the most damage. Like, I'm not a doctor, but if I had to make a guess, I'd say for sure a narcissistic sociopath. And,
I already knew where you were going with that too. That's the funny part about it. I'm gonna just say this, like, you guys. So I'm creating this safe space. I was talking to Gray because we connected on another platform together about infidelity recovery, and so I've just been sharing that I am an affair recovery coach. I coach women in particular who have been cheated on, and one of the things that I found out, I've come to realization, because even for myself, I've experienced infidelity, is that it's also difficult as you're navigating the holidays. And so the premise of this live is just us creating safe space, sharing our stories, things that we can do to help, because, something that me and Gray connected on was just community has been something that has really helped us get through. So if you guys have questions that you kind of want to ask maybe either one of us, that would be great. But Greg, I'm gonna take advantage of you right now because, and here's why. No, here's why. Here's why. So I have a podcast, right? And I have men who have been reaching out to me who have been cheated on. And I have people who have even come to me and said, "Hey, I have a guy friend that just came to me and told me that his partner cheated. I think you really need to start thinking about speaking to men as well." But my thing is like, I'm not a man, so I don't really know how to speak to that. So I want to take advantage of you and just kind of share, like, what does that experience look like for men who have been cheated on? Because we don't talk about that. Men often are overlooked in that category. And so maybe share some of that.
Yeah, I'm so thankful that you're talking about that right now. It is the thing that makes me the saddest. I will say this. Obviously, I think we all understand a lot of the same things around why it appears that men are cheated on less often than women. And I'm talking about heterosexual relationships. Of course, anyone gets cheated on by anyone. Cheaters, it doesn't matter gender, sex, whatever. Anything else. But men, there's stigma. Well, men are raised to not talk about their feelings, to be strong and confident all the time, and to just take it on the chin and move forward.
Yep.
Don't talk about it, and because it makes you look weak and it makes you look feminine or something. I don't really know. I'm not in that camp at all. I was raised in a 3-woman household. And my parents started me and my sister in therapy when I was about 5 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
After the divorce, they wanted to make sure we were okay, which is like,
wow. Yeah.
So talking about feelings comes second nature to me.
Okay.
Men just don't talk about it. And I know the statistics show that men cheat more often than women. And perhaps that's slightly true, but I would say probably inaccurate. Just that women are more comfortable talking about it, and men are not.
Yeah.
And because I'll tell you, so I've been cheated on by 4 girlfriends.
Wow.
And so anyway, and every single one of my guy friends has been cheated on by at least one woman. My dad's been cheated on. My stepdad was cheated on by his last wife, and she actually had him raise, what do you call the cheater's person?
I don't know. Is it like the love child or something? I don't know.
Whoever that dude was, she got pregnant by him and had my stepdad raise his child as his.
Wow.
And so I'm telling you, like, it is extremely pervasive.
So how did they deal with it? Like,
it really depends. My dad is very confident, so it didn't affect him as much.
Okay.
He's really secure, Some of my friends are still protecting themselves from getting hurt like that again. They're kind of where I was for 15 years.
Okay.
I just posted one of the Chump Ladies podcast episodes on my Instagram story, and a guy friend of mine just reached out to me to tell me he just found out his wife has been cheating on him for a very long time and is leaving him and their son for the other guy. I was just talking to him.
Wow.
So I'm just saying, it's like, and so one thing I did want to bring up that was really hard or something I just want people to understand, is that I think when we're cheated on for me, I've been cheated on by women. I'm assuming you've been cheated on by men. And so it can be all too easy to go, men are terrible, women are terrible, they're all the same. Especially, think about me, 4 women.
Yeah.
So how easy would it be for me to go, all women cheat?
Yeah.
But I'm intelligent to know that's not true. And
thank you for that. Thank you.
So one of the hardest things has been, even in the support groups, because most of the people talking are women, just like we were talking about with the statistics, it appears that only men are cheating.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
I like that. Yeah.
So, and then you go in there, and I think it's kind of perpetuated, and the women in these groups are going, well, it's only us talking, so really men are the ones cheating. None of these men are, there's no men in here. But that's untrue.
Yeah.
It's about 50-50.
Yeah.
There's only a couple men actually talking.
Yeah.
And so there's this like hate mongering going on, like man bashing, and that I as soon as I found these groups and community, I was like so relieved because I thought I was the only one. I felt.
Yeah.
And when I found out there was like hundreds of thousands of people were going through the same thing and feeling the same things I felt, it was such a relief. But I think it was like only day 2 in the support groups on Facebook that I realized, oh, there's a very obvious anti-man slant going on here. And to somebody like me, who's been cheated on by women my whole life, that spits in the face of my experience and my trauma, and is extremely hurtful.
Yeah.
But I can't change the world, but I do wish that there was more conversation around this, and I do wish more men would talk about their experiences and speak up, because unfortunately it's like this self-fulfilling prophecy where the women are believing that all men cheat and men are the problem.
Yep.
And so they're not, and because good men aren't talking about being a good man and having the same trauma, then we're not finding each other,
Right.
It's like, I don't know.
I think that's what stood out about you on that group, was because like you said, I never see men rarely comment. So it's like when you do, it's like, oh, okay, he's different, because it's almost like too, you're being courageous and actually speaking about it. Because even then, like, I've had men come up to me and talk to me about my podcast and tell me like what I need to talk about and what I need to put in there. And then I ask them, hey, well, why don't you come and share the male perspective? Because it needs to be talked about. And then they shun away from it. They're like, oh, no, I don't want to talk about it. And that angers. So that's why I'm like angry, because I'm like you said, it's clearly happened to men as well, but they don't want to show their face or even, like it bring awareness or acknowledgement to like, hey, this has happened to me. Because I don't know, does it make them look weak or something if they're cheated on by a woman? Or
I don't know. I honestly, like, okay, I can only make assumptions. I haven't read this, why men don't talk about that kind of stuff, but my assumptions would be that yes, it challenges, or they think it's going to challenge their masculinity.
Okay.
Maybe it challenges their sexual abilities, their abilities to provide or something. I'm not into all that stuff. Like, I'm different. I'm a different person. Like, I don't know. I just don't care. Like, I don't care what people think about that stuff, but I can feel it. But I think it's just the general perception. And I know women get it too. If you talk about being cheated on, I'm sure there's the societal perception towards you is, why was she cheated on,
Yeah, a lot of ours is blame. Like when I first came out, well, I didn't have the proof, but I was suspecting that my ex-husband was cheating. And whenever I would share that with people, it was never looked up on as him. It was always, well, what are you doing wrong?
Yeah.
And I think that's too, like, it's always, to me, I feel like a lot of it too is like always the responsibility of the woman when the man cheats, of like, well, what could you have been doing better to prevent that? But it's like, it's just an integrity thing of, like you said earlier, if you don't want to be in a relationship anymore, then just say that and leave. No one deserves to be cheated on.
No, it's abuse. So It's so it's the same. It's the same for men and women, but just different.
Yeah.
What the victim blaming is,
Mm-hmm.
and the victim blaming perception is of someone who gets cheated on, and what were they lacking, you know? So, you know, the friend I was just talking to, he was sharing his story, and he was listing the things that he was gaslit about by his wife about why she cheated. If you had been more of this and less of that, if you didn't do, you did that.
Yep.
You made me feel like this because you got a new job or whatever the heck it was, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which we know we can't make someone do something.
Yeah.
They decide all on their own the choices they're going to make.
Absolutely.
There's a million other choices they could have made, and they chose to betray someone's trust and live this whole double life.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just, it's you know, I've been reading, like, you know, Leave a Cheater, Gain a Life, and following the groups and listening to podcasts and stuff, and I really like that notion of, you know, some people just lack moral character. So yeah, I don't know. I wish there was a easy solution for, like, how to get more men to speak up about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that we can all come together, one big community to support each other. But that's kind of why I'm being so vocal about it on my social media pages.
Yeah, I love that.
I'll post stuff about it on my stories. Anybody who will listen about it. But yeah, that's a big thing to change, you know?
Yeah. Because what would you say? Okay, what are y'all like emotions? I know for women, when we first find out about, you know, the infidelity, we have emotions of anger and shame, and then, you know, like this abandonment, and then this overwhelming sadness. You know, are those kind of some of the similar emotions and feelings and thoughts that men go through?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that people are people. So whatever you felt about it, I felt about it, guaranteed.
Okay.
We're really not that different. And I wish more people would understand that. Some, you know, maybe women are more inclined to allow themselves to feel those things and acknowledge them and be honest about them. Whereas men, because of societal pressure, are taught to just kind of stuff it down and be tough about it and maybe get angry or something. I'll be honest, it really, yeah, and it was everything. I mean, it like tore my world up. I mean, every time it happened, I got to the depths of depression and suicide thinking and kind of mania. I did the pick me dance and tried to, like, be better or be a version of them, what I thought they wanted me to be.
Yeah.
You know, and it didn't matter. It's not about that. But I think one thing I think about a lot is, you know, I think people focus too much on the sexual aspect of it as if that's the big thing. Like,
okay.
It's not so, for me, of course, the fact that they had a sexual relationship with someone else hurts. It's not so much that for me, it's the fact that they cared so little about me. And the deception, like, as if I'm not a thinking, feeling, loving, fearing human being. I'm just an object to be played with.
Yeah.
Being played, you know, like, that's what really hurts. It kind of, like, it just ruins my worldview.
Really?
Yeah, like, because like I said, I've been so naive my whole life that I thought that, well, most people are good.
Yeah.
99% of people are good-hearted and moral and valid and have strong values.
Yeah.
That happens once, okay, it's like, that's a bad person. It happens 4 times, and it's like,
Yeah.
Man, I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So where are you now? Like, how do you are let me ask this then. What would you say to men who are, still healing from infidelity and things like that? Like, what would you say to them?
Just first of all, leave them. Leave them in the effing dust and do not get back together with them. They will do it again.
Do you think so? So do you believe in that narrative of like once a cheater, always a cheater?
I don't think anything can be a blanket statement.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
I believe it's like 90 once a cheater, always a cheater. And that's because I did give second, third, fourth chances to two of my cheaters.
Yeah.
They always did it again, and it was always worse. Yeah. So, and you hear all these stories too. I mean, that's one of the biggest benefits of being in these groups is you hear how common this stuff is, and you see the patterns. And damn near everyone who talks about giving a second chance and trying to reconcile, they just did it again. All they learned was, you'll forgive me if I do it again, or when I do.
Yep.
And I've learned how to be sneakier about it because I've met how you caught me this time.
Yeah. 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 That's so true. And that's one thing that because like on my tagline, I say, removing the shame of your decision to leave or stay. So I coach people who decide to do both, like leave or stay. But one of the things that I do with people who are choosing to stay is it's kind of similar to like what your friend is. Once you address the act of infidelity with them, what is their response? Is their response one of confession and truly understanding how it made you feel, like their betrayal made you feel? Or is it one of just, well, here's why I did it, because of you. And I always tell my clients, if your partners are starting the blame game and they're putting all the blame of infidelity on you, I'm like, let me be honest with you, that's not somebody that you want to rebuild trust with, because they're lacking that, empathy or that understanding that you need to get to that step of rebuilding trust with them. And so even like what you said, it's like there are common things. Like I would agree, it's probably about 98%. If they cheat once, they'll cheat again. I agree with that. And it's like, but now, like you said, now I know to pay attention to those signs of like, okay, when I address the act of betrayal or transgression or whatever, how does that person respond? And that really helps me too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. And yeah, all those indicators, like it's so important to learn those. I mean, what's somebody who blames the other person for, you made me cheat on you, made me betray your trust, go behind your back, all these things, and live this double life. They lack conscience. They lack accountability, self-awareness.
Yeah.
They're thinking about themselves only. They don't care how that made you feel.
Yeah.
I still want to talk about my feelings and how you caused me to do this. How you caused me to abuse you. Okay, I know this is an extreme parallel to draw, and I don't take saying this lightly, but let me think about this a little bit before I say this.
Okay. It's a safe space, whatever you want to say.
Would you go to somebody who committed rape and go to the person who was raped and say, what did you do to them to rape you? And you do hear that narrative, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
Well, she hadn't put herself in that situation. If she hadn't drank so much, if she wasn't dressing like that. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, none of that validates abusing someone like that. And it's the same thing with cheating. Nothing validates, nothing, there's no justification for it. A good-hearted person with a conscience, good moral character will go to their partner and say, like I said before, I'm unhappy about X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
What do to work together to get back to a good place with each other, maybe even a better place. And if there's no resolution, I think our relationship has come to an end.
Yeah. Simple communication. Like, to me, that's what I found to be the common, fault in all relationships, is like no one is truly communicating like what their desires are, what they need, what they're lacking from their partner, which then goes and makes them feel like, okay, well, this warrants me to go out because, well, you didn't see my behaviors, but it's like you never spoke about what it was that was lacking.
Yeah. It definitely doesn't help. I think we're all aware of how normalized, celebrated even infidelity is in our culture. It's made to be a silly, lighthearted, funny thing, which it couldn't be more the opposite to somebody who's on the opposite, the receiving end of it.
Yeah.
And so those people, if they're unhappy, they look around them, and even their friends maybe are championing them on. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go get your needs fulfilled. If they're not doing it, that's their fault. They caused this. Like, go get what you need. Their culture is very much being steered towards a narcissistic perspective.
That's true. Yeah.
Like at an alarming rate. I noticed it really take a deep dive or a steep curve towards that after COVID or during COVID. I'm not sure why that is, but I noticed it distinctly.
Yeah. So there's an article out there that I came across, and it was saying like the toxicity of self-love and self-care, like, because how there's becoming this fine line between self-love, self-care, and narcissistic behaviors almost. But so that kind of makes me think about what you're saying now, is it's like people like, oh, well, I just had to care for myself, this was lacking, and so I need this, and this is self-love for me. But it's like abusing or mistreating someone else does not justify that. You can't qualify that under self-love.
Yeah, and then that same culture would come back and say, well, if they feel bad about being cheated on, everyone's feelings are their own to deal with. That's their problem.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't get it at all, and it's one of the things that scares me the most. To be honest. Yeah.
So what made you decide to get back out there after you said 14 years? And now...
Well, it's like something like over a decade of self-protection, and then I decided to just give it a shot, just because people kept like in my ear being like, you'd be such a great partner, and or something, or a husband someday. You need to like find someone else. So I was like, well, I'll give it a shot. Maybe I meet the right person. But like I said, I met my last two cheaters back to back. So, but the last one, it was very brief. I mean, a week and a half, and I caught her having this second guy on her phone, and ended that immediately.
Good for you.
But I continue to kind of put myself out there. I mean, I am terrified of being cheated on again.
Yeah.
I'm terrified of feeling those feelings again. And I'm really worried about hurting myself, to be honest. And so I'm going about it very cautiously.
Okay.
And when I say about hurting myself, if I was to go through that trauma again.
Oh, crap. What happened? Sorry, you guys. I don't know what happened, but wow, that was amazing. Community. That's really what I've been saying. That's why I've created what I'm creating, community. And I just want to say thank you, Gray, for coming on and sharing your story, sharing your experience of what it felt like as a male, because, like I mentioned before, men get cheated on just as well. And one thing I want to say, Hey, Renisha. If you want to come on, Renisha, let me know. I'm gonna bring you on. But what I will say, today, really what I just kind of wanted to speak to is forgiveness, self-forgiveness. That's been something that's been like just in the middle of me. Okay, let me bring you back up, Gray. That's just been something that's been like everything I've been reading and the podcast I've been listening to is like forgiveness of self. She said she's in bed. Okay. No, what happened?
Me neither. I think it was me.
No, but I'll let you pick up where we left off there.
Okay, well, I was just gonna say, I think like most of us chumps, as we've been called, we have the chump, but we have a strong desire for love, and we believe in true love.
Yeah, yeah.
We give true love, and we always have. We just haven't received it back. So,
wow.
So I still believe in that, and honestly, I can't really conceive of living my entire life without that, because I felt it, even though it was with the wrong person. I crave it in a healthy way. Like, I'm not going to like settle or get into a relationship just to have it, but
right.
I know it exists, and I just can't wait to have it because I know how much love I have to give, and I just don't want to waste it my entire life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's the most special kind of love you can experience between two people. And so I just keep putting myself out there, but there's not a lot of healthy people on dating apps. And
my friend who said she's in the bed too, like we've talked about those experiences on the dating app. We're like
it's a constant source of humor between friends who are all both using it, you know, but it's also really depressing.
Yeah.
It's not really hope inspiring, but I still hold out always a glimmer of hope. And I've got to just make sure I'm at least out there. It's like putting a fishing line in the water, just in the hopes. You never know. The right fish might bite.
That's right. Don't give up. Don't give up. That's what Talks with V said. She said, you deserve love. Please don't ever hurt yourself. So keep trying. Yeah, for sure. Because I think that's what I had told you too. I was like, well, you know, we just have to sift through, unfortunately, a lot of the bad ones to get to our, we just need one. We just need one fish to bite, that one right fish to bite. And yeah.
And it's hard. It's not just, you know, it's like, I think especially with this kind of trauma, it's super hard to find someone that you feel safe with. I don't know. I can't speak for anyone else, but, you know, it's going to take a pretty special, caring person for me to feel safe with them. But there's a lot of other stuff, let's be honest, with two people that really has to match up for that to be a match. So yeah, I'm well aware it's going to take a long time. But it's all good, you know. How about you? Have you been able to find love afterwards, or?
In and out. Like, it's funny. I have dated, and so I'll say I haven't been in a serious relationship though, like since actually leaving my relationship. But I will say I've had the opportunity to date some really amazing men. I think that, and maybe you can agree with this, like, but when you come out of a relationship where you notice that you weren't putting yourself first and you were settling a lot, it's easier for you to say, hey, you're a great person, but you're just not that great person for me. So I have had the experience of like meeting a lot of great men. I just haven't really found that great person for me. But I think that there's still this communication barrier that I'm finding, you know, as I'm out here dating. But I've also had a lot of bad experiences too. But what I do though is it's kind of like what you're saying, like too, in relationships, is like I try not to give up though. And I don't look at the negative of like, okay, the dating pool is horrible. Like it's funny, it's comical, but there are great people out there too that are just like me who are looking for that. And so I just always remain positive. Now, right now, am I dating? No, no, not right now. No, not right now. But yeah, but dating when you do, it's fun. And I think, coming out of relationships where infidelity have happened, you have found, like I've found how to communicate better. I found how to really set my boundaries and follow those boundaries. Like I don't let people kind of so let me say this. This is something I was thinking about for me, or like as women, I've been telling my guy friends, like for me, I think that there's three things that women are looking for when they're dating, and that's safety, security, and certainty. And once that boils down, it's basically, does the partner understand you? Do they care? And then, can I trust you? Because if I feel safe and secure and I'm certain that you're not going to break my heart, then I am going to be able to trust you with whatever it is that you want. I'm certain that you're going to do right by me. And I think that, like, as I've been in the dating field, I haven't had that safety, security, and certainty in one man to where I feel like I can truly trust my heart with you.
So let me say that I'm looking for the very same things in a woman.
So maybe that's the thing, because that's what I keep saying. I'm not a man, so I don't know what y'all men out here looking for.
I can't speak for all men at all.
Yeah.
But I'm also someone who's a 4-time chump. 30, 50 top.
Yeah.
My actual ability to trust somebody through a variety of things point before anything. And I'll tell you, physical attraction has taken a backseat to feeling safe and secure with somebody.
Yeah.
Physical attraction is still important. It has to be there, but that standard has gone down, and I'm fine with that.
Okay.
But safety, security, someone's moral character, integrity, all that kind of stuff is way more important, and is actually the most attractive thing to me in a person.
Yeah.
And also, when you say that that's what women are looking for, where are these women at? They're not. Those are not the women I'm finding. I'm looking for any of that.
I can only speak for me and my friend group. And I know me and my friend group, the ones that aren't married, that is what we're looking for. So I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
I would have been in a relationship. What women are asking me for. I can provide that in growth. But that doesn't seem to be what they're interested in. But anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I want to ask you, I don't know if if I should keep talking, or you want to get to like people's questions.
Hey, people, if you do have questions, that's really what this space is for. So if you guys have any questions about infidelity, going through it, whatever, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm here to answer them. But yeah, I'm ready.
It's a complicated one. So have you read the book Attached?
I haven't. Okay,
or have you heard of attachment theory?
Yeah, like attachment styles and stuff like that.
Yeah. So secure, anxious, and avoidant. So like, I guess something I really gleaned from that book was kind of the avoidant, anxious trap. Where the anxious person who's that person who's like really wants a lot of intimacy, a lot of security. They want a lot of connection, a lot of time together. Unfortunately, they're often most attracted to the avoidant type, who is statistically the most likely to cheat out of all the attachment types. Because they want to hold somebody at arm's length, because intimacy makes them extremely uncomfortable and cagey. And so they'll do all kinds of stuff to avoid it. They're the people who will text you maybe once a day, who think your feelings are your problem. That's not my job. That sort of stuff. They want to hang out like once every 2 weeks. So, and that's typically your avoidant is your bad boy and your bad girl, right?
Yeah.
Which a lot of us have fallen into the trap of being attracted to because they predict